Hello everyone and welcome back to Transformation Tuesday. It's my favorite time of the week. It's where we get to go deep into some pretty powerful concepts in personal development. I get to share the best of what I've got for you to how to upgrade and hack your life. And tonight I'm going to be covering with you and sharing with you how to design the ultimate morning ritual. So thank you for joining me. Hello Daddy, good to have you here, buddy. For those of you that are interested in upgrading your morning ritual, whether you have an existing morning ritual, whether you have no morning ritual, I'm going to help seasoned performers, people that have been doing routines and rituals for quite a while, as well as if you've never done it before. I'm also going to share with you some tools and strategies to get started and how to design a really powerful ritual to start your day, to get your day off to the best success possible. I've been doing morning rituals now for well over, probably the first time I really got into them was probably back in 2015, and I was inspired by the great man Tony Robbins, and he first introduced me to the concept of the hour of power, and the hour of power was his version of his morning ritual, and I want to share with you my version of that and what I do and how I cultivate vitality and energy and motivation and all these things as I'll get into. Good to have you here, Daddy. So I've got my version of that, and it's changed so many times, and it will continue to change. And fundamentally, a morning ritual, it's all about how do you cultivate the highest level of energy, of vitality, of motivation, of spirit, of how do you activate all of your senses? How do you start the day with the greatest amount of inspiration and really creating momentum for your day? That's really what it's about. So it's for people that are wanting to elevate themselves to a higher level of performance, both mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and physically. And it's for people that have ever woken up sluggish or tired. I never used to be a morning person. I always used to be an evening person. And I'd say, I'm just not a morning person. Well, it wasn't actually that it's not that I'm not a morning person. It's just that I didn't have a routine, and I didn't have a sequence of activities and processes at the beginning of my day to really elevate my mood, to get my blood flowing, to start to wake me up. So if you feel sluggish or tired, if you think you're not a morning person, if you struggle to get out of bed when the alarm goes off, well, you're going to love this, because when you have a morning ritual, it allows you to tap into a far deeper level of energy and motivation and inspiration. And it really is about creating energy. And the whole philosophy about a morning ritual is about how you start your morning is typically how the rest of your day goes. So if you can focus on the first half an hour to the first hour of your day and cultivate a great amount of momentum and success, then you're going to set the rest of your day up for success. So if you win your morning, then you're going to win the rest of your day. So that's my philosophy. And it's all about feeling in a higher mood. It's about consciously creating what is the mood, what's the energy, what's the feeling that I want to have when I wake up. So it's designing our life. It is designing how we want to feel. It's designing the energy that we want to experience. It's consciously creating everything about our morning. Master your morning, master your life. That's exactly right, Daddy. So I want to give you the contrast. As we grow up, as we get older, what can tend to happen is we lose energy. We lose that sense of motivation and want to jump out of bed. When we started out as kids, like my little cousin, my little nephew, Jacob, as soon as he wakes up in the morning, as soon as he is awake, he just bursts to life. He's jumping out of bed, he's running around the house. He's like, yes, I'm alive. I'm here. And so that kid it's like he's just completely fired up and he's just going crazy. And that energy, that inspiration, that's something that innately exists within all of us. Now, if we've lost some of that, well, we can get that back. And there's many different strategies and tools I'm going to give you of how to cultivate that level of energy and spirit. And it's innate. We all have it inside of us. We all have that giddy, excitable nature about celebrating life. Sometimes we've just suppressed it. Sometimes we've forgotten that there are some amazing things in life. There are some really beautiful things about life, and sometimes we just forget. So sometimes when we wake up in a bit of a daze, when we're kind of half asleep, well, yeah, it's easy to hit the snooze button and go back to sleep for another 1 or 2 hours. So I want to share with you some strategies of how to design your ultimate morning ritual so that you can get up and you can get energized and you can start your day powerfully. So a bit of a recap in terms of, for those that, I don't know, it's pretty obvious what a morning ritual is, but fundamentally it is a series of activities and protocols that you execute in the morning that is like almost like jump starting you. So instead of jump starting your car, a morning ritual is something that you jump start yourself. It's where you design a protocol, almost like a military operation that gets executed, that when you execute it, it's like pushing a button. You execute that, you know you're going to get a certain result. So if you have a powerful morning ritual that you've designed and cultivated, well, you know if you execute that, even if you wake up feeling horrible, even if you wake up feeling tired, even if you're not looking forward to your day, you can execute that protocol and you can come out of that after 20 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour, however long you want to invest in yourself. You can come out of that more energized and more positive than you'd ever realize. And the way that you do that is you design a series of activities, a series of protocols that are going to elevate you in the best way possible. Now, this is going to be unique for all of you. You are going to have your favorite activities. You're going to have the things that light you up. There's going to be things that if you do them in the morning, it's going to give you a high level of energy. I'm going to give you some ideas. I'm going to give you a recipe. I'm going to give you the things that I tend to gravitate towards. Some of these you might resonate with. Some of them you might not. That's okay. You'll have your own. I'm simply giving you these suggestions as a way to think about how to approach your morning ritual and just give you some ideas to start getting in the game, to make some tweaks, to cultivate a higher level of energy. And that's really what the purpose of a morning ritual is. You've got to look at, well, the benefits of this are mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual. It's how do we activate ourselves to the highest degree? And there are many ways to do that. And I'm going to cover some of these ways. I'm just going to go through in no particular importance or no particular order the things that I generally look to aim for in a morning ritual. Now, a morning ritual doesn't have to be the same thing every day. It doesn't have to be doing the things in the same order every day. It's just simply a series of protocols or series of activities that you do each and every day that lights you up. It kickstarts your day. G'day Ross, g'day Chantel, good to see you guys here. First of all, when you wake up in the morning, I recommend the most important thing that you bring into your awareness as soon as you're waking up is what is called your first waking thought. Your first waking thought is what's that very first thought that you have as you're waking up. Now, for some people, it's, oh, bugger, I didn't get enough sleep. For other people, it's, oh, I've got to write that email. Oh, I've got to take the kids to school. Oh, I've got to do this. I've got to clean the house. I've got to do something. So you want to identify what's that first waking thought and identify, is it what you want it to be? When I first started doing this, I realized that my first waking thought was something like, oh, I didn't get enough sleep. I don't want to get out of bed. It's too cold. Oh, I've got to go to work. I've got to do this. It was a very negative waking thought. Whereas as soon as I set myself an intention to become aware of that, I was able to hack that because I could transform it. Because you can't change something that you're not aware of. So as soon as I became aware of the first waking thought, I set that as the very first intention in my day. As soon as I wake up, what's that thought? And I'm aware of it. Now, generally I'm pretty good with it now. I make sure if it's not a positive thought, I can become aware of that really, really quickly and I can change it. So if I wake up with the thought like, oh, I don't want to wake up, I'm too tired, I'll quickly intercept that and I'll change it to, I'm so glad I'm alive. I love myself. I'm excited. What can I create today? I made it. I've been given another day on this earth. Beautiful. So that's the first element, is identify your first waking thought. Now I'm going to give you a whole series of these elements that you can design into a morning ritual. There's no black and white. There's no right and wrong. This is just simply your opportunity that you get to play to create and design and carve out a habit of something that you really enjoy first thing in the morning. This is what it's doing. It's creating a series of activities that you can turn into a habit that becomes so effortless and so easy that as soon as you wake up, you do them, and then you emerge from that feeling energized, inspired, and alive in the best way possible. So this is where you get to design your ultimate morning ritual. This is me giving you some suggestions. And some of these, as I said, some of these will resonate with you, some of them won't. That's okay. I'm just going to give you a menu of options that you can pick from, and you're also going to come up with some suggestions of your own. But I'm going to share with you what I've learned over the journey since 2015, so it's the best part of 3 or 4 years since doing this, is what I've learned about this. And it can be difficult to make this stick as a habit. Hey Mike, good to have you here, brother. Some of you that have ever got into morning rituals, or some of you that have been endeavoring to wake up in the morning hours, in the early hours of the morning, and really be productive or really create energy, you can probably relate to sometimes it's difficult to get up. Sometimes you're still half asleep. Sometimes the last thing you want to do is get up and out and about and exercise. Sometimes you just want to hit the snooze button for another 2 or 3 hours. So this is where you want to start to realize, yes, the challenge of being a human being is definitely moving beyond the habits, moving beyond the rituals. So what you're going to find here is there's going to be a temptation to want to not move, to just stay asleep, to just not do anything. And this is where you want to use every single tool that you can possibly come across to implement and to embody and to introduce into this ritual. Because the more of these tools you can introduce, the greater probability you've got of overriding the sluggishness that we experience first thing in the morning. So first of all, drink plenty of water. Plenty of water. You've just been sleeping for the best part of 7, 8, 9 hours. You've got to get hydrated. So the first thing I do is I grab my water bottle and I down probably about 1 litre of water straight away, first thing. What I also do is I go straight to the sink and I wash my face with cold water. It's like, wake up, great, we're going to do this. Now, I recommend not having your alarm clock next to your bed because it's easier to snooze it. I recommend having your alarm clock in another room or somewhere that you have to physically get up out of bed. Now, once you're up and out of bed, you go straight to the sink, water on the face, right, let's do this. Drink water, and then I also recommend doing some really, really big breaths. First thing, like literally the first couple of breaths. And that's a process that's going to help you start to activate your heart rate. It's going to start to activate blood flow. It's going to start to activate you. So you've got to start thinking about how do you start activating yourself? Breathing, water, movement. These are the key functions you've got to start thinking about to wake the body up, to make you feel alive. And I also recommend little things that don't necessarily take much time as well, like putting on music through this process. As you design your morning ritual, you want to find out what are the music, what's the playlists, what are the tunes, what are the genres of music that elevate you, that make you feel the greatest sense of aliveness. Because when you play music that you resonate with, that's one of the fastest ways to hack your mood. Like you play music and it's just, you cue an emotion. It's just like, great, I want to feel happy. Wait, play that song. I feel happy. I want to feel joy. Great, play that one. So recognize your music selection has a powerful ability to override your emotional state. This is biohacking. This is amazing. So you want to drink plenty of water. You want to make sure your alarm is not next to your bed. You want to make sure that you don't check your phone. I recommend not checking your phone for the first 1 to 2 hours of the day, just to not get distracted. When you get distracted on your phone, what you're doing is you're buying into someone else's agenda. You are not operating as a sovereign, empowered human being. You're now just responding to distraction. So I definitely recommend that not checking your phone is one of the most empowering things that you can set as a rule for yourself. Since I've done that, it's been amazing how much more energy I've got, because I found myself when I was waking up in the morning, sometimes I'd be checking my phone and just checking Facebook on social media, or checking emails, and then 20 minutes, half an hour goes by and you haven't got out of bed, you haven't done anything. And where's that time gone? It's dead time, it's just gone. So definitely keep off your phone, keep off it. And it's amazing what you can actually create. Have a cold shower. Cold showers are fantastic. I've been having cold showers now for the best part of the last probably year. And it gets particularly challenging when it gets to winter time here in Perth. It's not as challenging as some other parts. I used to live in Tasmania and now that was challenging. But when you have a cold shower, again, it lights you up, it energizes you. You become alive, completely alive, because it's so cold. It's one of the best things you can do to wake you up and to make you feel alive, as well as a whole lot of other health benefits. For those of you that haven't already checked out some of the work by Wim Hof, you'll start, if you research some of his breathing techniques and cold, like ice baths and in cold immersion, you'll start to see there's a whole field of science around how the body responds to cold temperature. So this is a really powerful little hack that doesn't really take a lot of effort. You'll actually find it makes your showers a lot shorter. You'll save water, you'll save time, and you'll feel more energized. I also recommend that really what you do first in the morning is you're setting the standards for how the rest of your day wants to go. So make your bed. Just make it. It doesn't, as soon as you get out of bed, just make the bed. It literally takes 15 seconds, 20 seconds to make your bed. And what it's done is it's just set a standard for yourself where you're saying, great, I'm now going to operate at a level of excellence, at a level of organization. It's a tiny little thing. It doesn't take much effort, but psychologically it just adds a whole level of depth to our sense of professionalism as a human being. I also recommend affirmations. For those of you that haven't done affirmations before, affirmations are simply statements that you read aloud that remind you about who and what you are. They remind you who and what you are. So you can design any kind of affirmation that reminds you of what you need to be reminded of. Maybe you need to remind yourself that I love myself, that I'm an amazing person, that today is going to be the best day of my life. Today is the best day of my life. I'm energized, I'm inspired. Remind yourself of what your purpose is. Remind yourself of how amazing and how beautiful you are. Whatever is the theme of what you need to remind yourself of the most, you want to design a series of affirmations, which are just statements that you read aloud to yourself. And I recommend you do these in the mirror to some powerful music. And you're pumping yourself up. You're connecting to who and what you are and reminding yourself of what we are, because sometimes it's easy to forget. It's easy to forget how magnificent we are as creatures. And if we're operating on unconscious autopilot programs, well, you could go the whole day without actually reminding yourself of how amazing you are. So set it up as a protocol inside your ritual to remind yourself of the great things of who and what you are. Remind yourself of the truth. What you can incorporate inside of this is things like purpose statements, life philosophy statements, going through reminding yourself of what your core values are in life, what your ideal principles are, what you want to live by. This is a great time to remind yourself of the standards and principles that you want to live by. Very, very powerful time of the day to do that at the beginning of the day, because you're now reminding yourself, how do I want to show up in life? How do I want to show up in life? So for me, for example, I'm always reminding myself to show up as the best version of me. That I want to strive to be the highest expression of truth, that I want to stem from a place of love, that I'm here to make an incredible impact in my own life and the lives of other people. So these are the kinds of statements that I'm reminding myself on a daily basis every single morning, because if I don't do that, well, it's so easy to forget. It's so easy to run these autopilot programs where sometimes the only good thing that you're going to hear is what you say to yourself. Sometimes you might go through a whole day without anyone giving you any acknowledgement or validation. So what you say to yourself is of critical importance. Very, very important to realize that we need to be our own best friend. We need to be the one inside our own mind. We need to be our own cheer squad. We need to be our own cheer squad. So that's what this is designed to do. I also recommend getting clearer on your vision and starting to create purpose, vision statements, value statements, life philosophy statements. Write paragraphs and paragraphs of statements that really resonate, and then just read them. And as you read them, you feel into it and you resonate with it and you feel amazing. So that's the point of it. You feel inspired, you feel alive, and you remind yourself of your magnificence. The more that you do that, the more you will override the unconscious habits of the mind. And the mind, if unsupervised, will tend to run away and just start creating negative thinking. That's what it does. The unsupervised mind, i.e. the ego, it will do its thing. It will remind us of all the negative things. It will worry about all the things we need to worry. It will worry. It will operate out of fear unless we direct it and we are conscious of it and we are present to it. We need to guide it and nurture it and remind ourselves of all the amazing things that we are. So music is a fantastic opportunity to really supercharge this morning ritual experience. Pick the music that gives you the emotion that you want. You don't have to pick upbeat. It doesn't have to be downbeat. It's whatever you feel like on the day. And so some days I feel like listening to, it might be classical music. Other days it might be heavy metal. Other days it's hip hop. Doesn't matter. It's what do you feel like? What do you want to feel like? It's designing your emotions in advance. It's designing How do you want to emerge from this morning ritual experience? What feeling do you want to have? What level of energy do you want to have? What preparation do you want to have going into your life? So you're designing this experience to set you up for your day. Gratitude is another amazing practice to integrate into this. Now, gratitude doesn't have to take any extra time. When you pick up your toothbrush, you can remind yourself of what you're grateful for. When I'm in the shower, I remind myself of what I'm grateful for. I have a lot of little anchors and rituals when I'm picking up my toothbrush, when I'm in the shower. These are the times that I'm just focusing on, I'm so glad to be alive. I'm so glad to be alive. So it doesn't take any extra time. This is what Tony Robbins calls net time, no extra time. It doesn't take any extra time to do these things because you're already doing them. You may as well integrate all of these morning ritual processes into your existing day, and it doesn't take you any extra time. Like, yes, some of these things will take extra time, like affirmations will be extra time, but if you already have to brush your hair and you're already in front of the mirror, well, why not read some affirmations to yourself while you're in front of the mirror whilst you're playing some amazing music? It's not a lot of extra time, not a lot of extra effort, and it makes a massive difference. I recommend movement. Movement is one of these core pillars of any morning ritual. The more that you can get moving, the more that you can move your body, the more that you can breathe, the more you're going to activate the physical elements of your body. So what I recommend are things like doing calisthenics, which is just simply body weight exercises. So push-ups, sit-ups. I do a handstand every morning and little things like this. So it doesn't have to be a lot. It could be 5 minutes, it could be 10 minutes, but just something of really intense energy. You might go for a run, you might go for a swim, you might go for a bike ride. Doesn't have to, might be doing jumping jacks on the spot, whatever it is. Doesn't matter. It's just something that resonates with your style, with your exercise abilities, something that gets you moving. I love dancing as well. When I say dancing, it doesn't have to be choreographed dancing. It doesn't have to be professional dancing. It's just, I might even put on some heavy metal music and I'm just rocking out playing air guitar. It doesn't matter what it is. It's just embracing that music and moving your body and getting in the flow and maybe going a bit crazy, just going nuts. No one else is watching you in your room. You might have a partner, but either way, you can maybe even do it together. So this is a fantastic opportunity to really start to embrace movement, music, self-expression. Like, really see this as an opportunity to really just rock out. Just go for it. Put on the best tunes, the best music, the best movement. Like, just go wild. And for those of you that have never been to ecstatic dancing before, it's called ecstatic dancing. Ecstatic dancing is a fantastic practice. It's a practice where they play this amazing music and you have full permission to just move your body in whatever way, shape or form you feel like in the moment. And there's no judgment, there's no style, there's no choreography. It's just wildly moving your body in whatever way you feel like. It's fantastic. It's a great way to express yourself. It's a great way to get over your own internal resistance around movement, around self-expression, around connecting with yourself. So in the mornings, I'm moving, I'm jumping around, I'm playing air guitar, I'm doing all this crazy stuff and I'm just activating myself and I feel alive. It's beautiful. So realize that there's all these little elements that even if you haven't tapped into these before, you can you can learn them. But those of you will probably realize, like, when you're a little kid, we used to run around dancing to music and just going crazy as little kids. And at some point we lost that. Like, for me, when I was a little kid, I used to run around the house and I'd be dancing all the time. And I've regained that spark. I've regained that appreciation for just movement and just enjoying myself. So really feel into what are the things that you used to love as a kid. And that's a major clue. What you used to love as a kid is a major clue for what your authentic passions and expression is. So remember what you used to be like as a kid, and maybe you might have forgotten to access a little bit of that. Hey Monica, good to have you here. There are some other little elements that I'll recommend as well. Now, reading is another really good element for a morning ritual. It doesn't have to be reading for an hour or half an hour. It could just be reading for 5 minutes. It's just some element of learning, some element where you're educating yourself and you're reading something. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be education in personal development. It could be reading something inspiring. It could be reading something funny. It could even just be watching a YouTube video that makes you laugh. It could be like a 1 or a 2 minute video, whatever it is. I recommend looking up playlists on YouTube, things like motivation and inspiration. There's some amazing playlists on YouTube. There is amazing videos on inspiration and motivation. So all you need to do is you just look up on YouTube, inspirational video, motivational video, and It could be 1 or 2 minutes. And after you watch that video, it typically has got some really nice cinematic music. Sometimes you're in tears of joy and bliss and gratitude. And so sometimes there's no better way of starting a day than watching some of these inspirational movies or videos. Powerful way to start your day. Another one I want to drop in here is essential oils. For those of you that aren't familiar with essential oils, they're an amazing, natural, healthy product that makes you smell delicious, makes you smell amazing, and has a lot of really amazing healing properties. So I'm not going to go into the details here on essential oils, other than to say they're really powerful. They're a great replacement for toxic chemicals that you would normally put on your body, like things like aerosols and aerosol-based deodorants. There's a lot of amazing essential oils you can use to smell really, really nice, and they're really, really healthy. So again, this is just another ritual that you can go through in the morning, and there's so many elements that you can introduce into your ritual. It doesn't have to be any of these on the list. I'm just giving you some examples of what I do. Mirror work is another one I'm going to talk about. Mirror work is where all you do is you're just staring in front of your mirror and you're making eye contact with yourself, and you're reading out affirmations to yourself, you're talking to yourself, you're communicating with yourself, and you're your own best friend. You're pumping yourself up, and you're reminding yourself of who and what you are, and just staring into your eyes in a beautiful way, just projecting love, kindness, celebrating your existence. And it's called mirror work. I call it mirror work. And I think it's a beautiful experience because you're just looking into your eyes and you're just connecting with yourself, and you're just celebrating you. You're celebrating you. That's what it's doing. And the theme here is to remind ourselves of who and what we are. Remind ourselves of our greatness. This is what this whole experience is about reminding us of who and what we are. We are amazing people at our core. And sometimes it's really, really easy to forget that, particularly when you've got stuff to do, you've got to get to work, you've got to get out and about. If you don't make time for you in this process, well, it's really easy to drop the ball on making sure that we're nurturing ourselves emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually. So these are the 4 dimensions that you've got to take care of inside your morning ritual. The last one I'll mention here is a bit more on breath work. So I mentioned at the beginning that as soon as you wake up, I recommend taking some really big deep breaths just to activate activate the oxygen in your blood flow. Activate this mechanism inside your lungs. It's like sometimes during the day you can actually forget to breathe. Sometimes we're breathing so shallowly that sometimes we nearly start falling asleep. Well, when you breathe, you elevate yourself, you elevate your consciousness, you start getting your blood flowing, you oxygenate your blood. So even if you just breathe really, really powerfully for 5 or 10 seconds, you're alive, you're awake. For those that want some advanced techniques, I definitely recommend checking out Wim Hof. He's got a really powerful breathwork process. Just Google Wim Hof technique. He's got some really great videos. To do his full technique, it probably takes about 15 minutes to do that. But you don't have to do a full 15 minutes of breath work. You can just start easy. You can start by just taking 5 deep breaths. You can start by taking 10 deep breaths, just 1 minute of breathing. It doesn't have to be a lot, just breathe. So again, these are the core elements of breathing, movement, water, positive affirmations, and reminding ourselves of who and what we are. So this is really quite simple. It's not rocket science. The biggest challenge that most people find in terms of what are the go-wrongs with morning rituals are people try and get them perfect. People try and strive for perfection. People try and think, oh, I've got to design something that's really amazing. Well, you don't have to design anything that's incredible. You just have to pick maybe one or two or three things off this list and just say, right, I'm going to do that tomorrow morning, and create a list. I've got a whiteboard in my room of the list of all these things, this whole list that I've given you. I've got a whiteboard in my room, and I just go through and I just tick them off. And when I first started, I felt like I had to tick all of them off. And my hour of power is actually about 2 hours. It was actually about 2 hours, and I found it was amazing, but my morning ritual went for 2 hours. So it was the first 2 hours of my day. Now it goes for probably about an hour and a half. So I've condensed it down, but it's still really powerful. So have a list, start to design, start to think about what are the most amazing activities you could fill your day with in the morning that's going to light you up. Some of these things you won't resonate with. And as I said, that's fine. Find the things that you resonate with. Find the things that light you up. Find the things that energize you. And you get to design these in whatever way is going to provide you the greatest benefit for your morning ritual. So just experiment with it. Play. Test it out. There's no right and there's no wrong. You just get to feel into what are those most activating exercises that you can possibly think of that are really going to help you. Some other go-wrongs that exist for people are things like people find it difficult to stick to habits. People find it difficult to stick to these rituals and routines. And understandably, we are creatures of habit. We are creatures of habit. So realize to have some compassion for yourself and don't feel like you need to get it perfect every single day, but at least hold yourself accountable to doing something. You don't have to do a full 1 hour of power morning ritual on the first day. Start with one thing. Just do that one thing every day for a week. Then once you've done it for a week, add another thing. Do that every day for a week, then add another thing. So just build it up slowly. Build it up at whatever capacity or whatever speed you feel is sustainable. Because the last thing you want to do is make it feel like a massive chore. Make it feel like, oh, this has got to be something that's going to be bigger than Ben-Hur. It doesn't have to be this massive ordeal. Start out with 5 minutes, start out with 10 minutes, and progressively build it up to the point where you now look forward to your ritual. It's something that really adds value and adds energy to your experience. And it's not something that you're dreading. It's something that when you wake up, you go, great, I get to do my ritual now because I get to feel amazing. Admittedly, sometimes when you first wake up, when you're still a little bit sleepy, it can be very, very easy to just want to go back to bed. And that's why that in that first moment, that's why what's required is an energetic burst of reminding ourselves of something like gratitude, of excitement, of inspiration, of fast forwarding, if you like, to the end of that ritual or to the end of the day when you now have, it's like visualizing your success, visualizing that inspiration in advance. And you bypass the temporary resistance, the temporary sluggishness, because you're now creating a visualization or an inspiring movie about what are the benefits that this morning ritual is going to give you. And that's going to help you get over that being sluggish. It's going to help you get over being a little bit sleepy. So that's probably going to be the biggest challenge. And I've noticed that's personally probably the biggest challenge for me. It's just that first moment, that in the first 5, 10 seconds, 30 seconds when you're awake, that's the moment where you've got to say, right, let's go for it. Boom, let's do this. Let's get up. Water on the face, drinking, breathing, stand up. Let's go for it. Let's get moving. Let's get this day on the road. Let's get this show on the road. So that, in a nutshell, is how to approach designing a morning ritual. It's really quite simple. It's not rocket science. The biggest challenges are remembering, and we don't have to get it perfect, to give ourselves permission to explore, to experiment, to play, and to design something that lights us up, something that we love. Don't put things in your morning ritual that you don't enjoy. Don't do them. Like, for example, if you don't really like exercise, right? Now, this is the thing about exercise. If you don't like exercising, well, find something that you do like. Play a sport, right? Find something where you can move your body, where you enjoy it. Like, I used to really love playing soccer. Soccer was a great way of keeping fit, and you're running and you've got a reason to run. You're chasing a ball, right? I also now I love running as well. So running is another great one, but I know not everyone loves running. Not everyone loves the same thing. Not everyone loves going to the gym, right? I don't particularly like going to the gym. So what I'll do is I'll do yoga, I'll do body weight exercises, I'll do my own exercises. And body weight exercises, the simple things you can do from the comfort of your own home, like push-ups, sit-ups, handstands, squats, all these kinds of things. So you don't necessarily need equipment. You don't even need to go outside sometimes to do exercises. So find the exercise, find the movement, find all these activities that light you up and create your ultimate morning ritual. It's really quite simple. Yes, it requires a little bit of commitment. Yes, it requires some accountability. And I recommend starting small and then building up over time. And that's really all there is to it. So I'm going to leave it with you guys. Enjoy creating your ultimate morning ritual. I'd love to get your comments and feedback, how you find it. What do you find challenging? What do you find easy? What did you enjoy? What did you learn? So enjoy the process of creating your rituals and watch the magic unfold. Watch the energy, watch the inspiration unfold inside your morning. And then when you win your morning, you win your day. I'm going to leave it there for tonight, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to Transformation Tuesday. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Chantel. Great to have you guys here. Wishing you a wonderful week, and as always, lots of love. Bye for now.